From Scorsese and DiCaprio to Nolan and Murphy, some movie partnerships go together as well as popcorn and a blockbuster. A dynamic combination of a director and an actor has resulted in some iconic projects that benefit from both of their creative input. Plenty of the best movies of all time have a visionary behind the lens and a fearless performer in front of it, who both elevate the material to new heights. Great directors often collaborate with the same actors and have continued to do so throughout their careers. Some of them may have gotten their breakthroughs together, or just developed a great creative rapport, but it meant they tended to gravitate toward each other rather than trying out other partnerships that may have given audiences even more to enjoy. That said, it's curious how certain partnerships that would have been perfect never happened. 6. James Cameron and Tom Cruise. The action maestro and the unstoppable star. Two giants of the action genre, Cruise and Cameron have grossed over $20 billion, and counting, between them. Seeing as they have both helmed so many successful projects in their respective areas of expertise, it is surprising that their paths have never crossed professionally. James Cameron has directed some of the most well-known and bankable action films of the past 4 decades. From Terminator to Avatar, with a little-known project called Titanic in between, he has worked with huge stars and huge budgets. Tom Cruise has been active throughout a similar period, and projects like Top Gun and Mission Impossible made him one of the most recognizable action stars on the planet. And yet, despite the possibility of a record-breaking collaboration, the two have never worked together. Hopefully, once Ethan Hunt completes his final mission and the story on Pandora comes to an end, the veterans can come together and unleash their power on the world. 5. Christopher Nolan and Jennifer Lawrence. The visionary director and the versatile talent. These Academy Award winners have been responsible for some of the most well-respected and treasured films in recent history. Christopher Nolan has gone from being an indie director with a unique and intriguing vision to creating some of the most epic and mind-bending blockbusters. Jennifer Lawrence has been a non-stop force for years, creating complex characters that earned her various accolades, and leading multiple billion-dollar franchises with grace and strength. Nolan's filmography is extensive, with many complicated stories at the center, but while most of his male characters are well-rounded and developed, many of the female protagonists could do with a little more attention. A collaboration with Lawrence could allow for a wonderful conversation between the two, and her personality would imbue any character with even more charisma and complexity than the page might allow. 4. Tim Burton and Joaquin Phoenix. The gothic storyteller and the intense performer. Both Joaquin Phoenix and Tim Burton are known for their quirky and darker sides, and have been part of projects that championed individuality and embraced being an outsider. They have also both been a big part of the world of Gotham City, but despite all these similarities, they have not made a notable project together. Burton's vision of the Joker in his version of Batman was, no doubt, partly responsible for the direction that Phoenix and other performers took, so seeing them collaborate on something together would be very interesting to see. While it is well documented that the Beetlejuice director has made some lasting creative partnerships with the likes of Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, and Michael Keaton, it could be time to go in a new direction. After his Oscar win, Joaquin Phoenix's subsequent choices have been hit and miss, so teaming up with Tim Burton on a new series of films could mix their unconventional energy in the best possible way. 3. Martin Scorsese and Harrison Ford. The legendary filmmaker and the iconic lead. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino have all been mainstays in Martin Scorsese's various projects, and they all, no doubt, share a deep bond and a great deal of respect for each other, which has allowed them to create such a great body of work. Harrison Ford has had a close working relationship with some of the biggest directors in Hollywood, including Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and together they brought the world-renowned franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. While it could be argued that Scorsese is known for creating some deeply flawed characters, and Ford tends to play the hero, mixing the two could be electric. In fact, it is surprising that it has not happened yet. With both artists considered legends in their respective fields, and both enjoying creative challenges, seeing what they could create together would be exciting. Perhaps Ford could tap into his more sinister side, while Scorsese leans into a hero's journey that could resonate with audiences. Quentin Tarantino and Florence Pugh. The genre-bending auteur and the rising force. Quentin Tarantino is known for creating some powerful female characters that have inspired and empowered many viewers. Jackie Brown and the Bride fearlessly led their own movies and have been complex and layered individuals who added so much to cinematic posterity. If he sticks to his promise of only making 10 feature films, Tarantino's final movie will hopefully feature another strong woman in its cast. That is where Florence Pugh could come in. She has been a prolific actor despite her young age and has created a varied filmography that showcases her impeccable talent. She can tap into her strength as well as her vulnerability, and has the type of wit and sense of humor that could easily handle Tarantino's acerbic writing. He has been known to feature both emerging and established actors, so a collaboration with Florence Pugh, who is an embodiment of both, could be extremely exciting. 1. Steven Spielberg and Robert De Niro. The blockbuster titan and the acting legend. Certain names evoke so much recognition that they can exist all on their own. Spielberg and De Niro are self-explanatory, but if one were to think of a director called Steven or a veteran actor called Robert, they would most likely think of those two men as well. Both are Oscar winners and have been part of making some of the best and most beloved films of all time. With a hefty collection of action films, thrillers, dramas, and even comedies, they have done it all, but somehow, never together. Spielberg has worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and De Niro has starred in projects led by several respected directors, but their paths have never crossed professionally. It would be a gift to audiences to see a story that came out of this partnership. The great actor has proved that he can be as menacing as he is cuddly, with practically unlimited range. The great director has mixed personal stories with ones that tap into broader genres, too, so here's hoping there is still time to see what kind of movie magic could come from this partnership.